Cepek! Hello and good morning, Bobcats.
Today you are joined by both of your sports editors. And with that being said, let's give you a little preview of the stories ahead.
First, a look into our PTSA-hosted cooking club.
What CUSD pathways are offered, not just the ones at Sage, but for the whole school district.
A speedy look into our spring sports, which have already started.
And lastly, a piece of Congressman Mike Levin. Like we said before, first up we have a look into our PTSA-hosted cooking club here on campus.
Reporters Devyn, Serrano, and Jason Chase bring us this piece, and hopefully some food too.
And since we're on the topic of food, to all the students who get lunch, don't forget to throw away your trash.
Campus supervisors have seen tons of trash left behind every single day.
It is our responsibility to throw away our trash, not the custodians.
I can't wait to see a cleaner campus and the meals they make in cooking club.
To Devyn, behind the camera and in the kitchen.
Some people may not know, but Sage Creek PTSA holds a cooking class.
I would give the class a solid 10 out of 10. I know they put a lot of effort into putting together the class, and everyone who's there had a really good time, I think, including myself.
In the class, they learn to cook various delicious dishes.
We cooked a meatball sub fully from scratch, so it was a lot of fun, and it was actually really good.
This class is more than just a cooking class. According to Miss Metzger, the teacher of the class, gained inspiration from a book called How to Raise an Adult. The book proposed that students lacked certain life skills, one of which was cooking.
I mean, it's going to be useful when we go to college especially, but also in general, just to know how to cook is probably a really important skill.
The next cooking class will be held on March 15th from 3:30 to 5:45 in the cafeteria. To sign up, scan the on-screen QR code. For The Sage, this has been Jason Chase and Devyn Serrano.
Wow, maybe I should join.
Yes, and if you'd like to, ask any questions by emailing sagecreekptsa@gmail.com. Sadly, Bobcat Cooking Class is not a pathway for CUSD.
But do you know what is?
What?
Engineering and biomed, along with many others around CUSD high school campuses.
I wonder if any incoming 9th graders chose a pathway yet.
Don't forget, you should have your classes input into Aries, which started from February 14th to the 28th.
But you can still do so till March 20th.
Leo Ambrogelly is reporting with more information on pathways.
Why are we learning this, and what is this for, are maybe two of the most common sentences spoken on high school campuses across the US. Though the skills we learn here are undeniably valuable, many students struggle to find a place to directly apply what they've learned. CTE, or Career and Technical Education programs, attempt to address this problem by providing spaces for students to indulge their curiosity in a more hands-on environment. Senior engineering student Faith Klein believes that these programs help prepare Bobcats for the real world.
You have your team of engineers, and we work on fixing a problem the whole year and designing a solution for it. And so I think that really simulates real life, and we've had to do everything that a normal team of engineers would have to do in a real company.
Some take this to mean that CTE programs and traditional classroom learning are mutually exclusive, though nothing could be further from the truth. On the contrary, the two styles of learning often complement each other, providing a space for students to apply their knowledge from other courses and deepen it by doing so.
Kind of all the sciences really go together at all times. I'll be in physics and I'll be learning something about chemistry. I'll be in engineering and you're doing trusses, which has to do with math, which has to do with physics.
Sage Creek and Carlsbad Unified School District at large offer many of these programs, from digital photography, computer science, and architectural design to engineering and biomedical science. All of these give students an opportunity to build their schedule around their passion. The CUSD Choose Your Path Showcase is being held this Thursday, March 3rd, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at Carlsbad High School. It includes many of these pathways, in addition to other awesome electives. I highly recommend attending if you can. Take a note on your phone so you don't forget. I've been Leo Ambrogelly for The Sage.
If I wasn't going to be a senior next year, I would definitely consider taking some of those pathways.
For students who have siblings becoming incoming 9th graders next year, don't forget tonight at 5 p.m. is family night.
Today we have an early out. You can find the adjusted schedule on the SC Bobcats Instagram page or the morning announcements email.
Even though we now have a look into spring sports, don't forget to also come support our clubs on campus too.
Tomorrow night at 6:30 there's an academic league match here in the cafeteria.
Supporting my peer Bobcats is my favorite way to show Bobcat pride.
Next we have a preview on spring sports with Cooper Hancock.
What's going on, Bobcats? My name is Cooper Hancock. Time to flip the script from winter to the spring. But before we do, congrats to all those winter sport athletes, especially girls soccer, who were named the Division II CIF champions after beating Coronado on Friday. This is the girls' second CIF championship in a row as they look to go even further in states. Now here's what to expect for some of our spring sports. Coach David Savage and his boys volleyball team, comprised of a large group of returning seniors, are ready to begin their seasons with goals to be hungry, relentless, and united in every game, win or lose. Coach Danny Kung and his track and field athletes, led by upperclassmen, are ready to compete this year. A smaller team compared to most of their competition, these athletes thrive off of iron sharpens iron mentality. To be the best, you have to compete against the best. Coach Ryan Madsen and baseball are back at it with the deepest roster they've ever had. A team compiled of predominantly upperclassmen are set to face some of the best schools in the state this year in Division I. Definitely some must-watch games and meets this year, so make sure you are turning out, Bobcats. This has been Cooper Hancock, and let's send it back to the anchors.
That piece sure was a home run.
Speaking of which, softball plays against Francis Parker at 4 p.m. today. Away.
Now switching from sports to politics.
Next, we have a story of Congressman Mike Levin's visit to Sage Creek.
On February 16th, Congressman Mike Levin met with students from AP and U.S. government. Levin represents California's 49th district, where Sage Creek is located and where many of its students live.
It was definitely a very different experience. I was definitely a bit nervous when I came up to ask the question.
Levin was able to answer a couple questions from some of the students.
I asked that there's so much hate and divide in America these days, and it's been exacerbated in recent years. I wanted to ask if he's seen any of this kind of stuff on Capitol Hill, if he's had to deal with this stuff with any of his colleagues.
It was overall a good learning experience for students, with key takeaways.
Very interesting experience, obviously, and I think it showed that, it really opened the eyes of the students for different jobs that they could possibly have, because I could never imagine being a politician, and now that I've met him and I saw that he's a normal person, it showed me that maybe they are real people.
Learning was the primary objective of the meeting. This unique experience was set up by Miss Fisher, the new government teacher.
She told our class that she's been planning this kind of thing for over 5 months. She's been really passionate about teaching us students about this kind of stuff and having people come into class about it.
Miss Fisher put together an opportunity that engaged her students and gave them some insight on how the government works. This has been Jason Chase reporting for The Sage.
That was super interesting. Thank you, Jason.
That wraps up this week's show.
Don't forget to also check out our site for the latest news articles.
And follow us at The Sage Publication on Instagram and Twitter.
See you in the next try.
This has been Nick Cepek
and Kayley Teagle reporting for
The Sage.